Today we're going to be learning about 4 nodes that you can use in DaVinci Resolve. Let's get into it. Alright, so we have our image here. I shot this on the Sony FX30 in S-Log 3, and we're going to add some nodes to color it up. So this is where we're going to add our nodes in this space over here. On Mac, I'm going to click Option S, and that's going to give us a serial node. You can create multiple serial nodes and kind of create a train or like a web to make different color adjustments to your image. So originally I thought the first node is where you apply your LUT, but we're actually going to save that for your second node. So we have our first node up here, and then we have these 4 wheels right here. And the 3 wheels that we really want to focus on are lift, gamma, and gain. Lift controls our shadows, gamma controls our midtones, and gain controls our highlights. I also have this scope meter down here, and there's a bunch of different ones, but the one that I like using, there's a ton of stuff and it can get really complicated, but the one that I like using right now is Parade. For this image, I want to raise my contrast to about there. So I also want to adjust my pivot. What is pivot? Pivot determines the center point around which contrast is applied. Think of it as a balance point for your contrast adjustments. Where should the image bend? More into the shadows or more into the highlights? For this image, because I have this kind of cool shadow right here, I definitely want my pivot to bend more into the shadows rather than the highlights. I'm also going to lower my shadows a little bit, and now I'm just slightly adjusting my lift, my gamma, and my gain. We're going to go here, we're going to click Option S, and then we're going to go into our LUTs. Now what's really cool about DaVinci is they have LUTs for basically every huge camera brand. They have Blackmagic, obviously, DJI. I don't see Canon, which is kind of interesting, but they have Sony. And that's the one that I like using. So when I hover over this, it's gonna show me a preview, and I don't really like that one. That one's kind of more of the bluish teal look that I'm going for. This one's a little too blue. This one has more green, which I like. Ooh, I kind of like this one because it's a lot more vibrant. But this one, I'm actually like, this is usually the one that I use. I'm gonna double click it, and then I applied my LUT. And then I'm gonna go back here, and I'm gonna change kind of what I want in the image. The second node is mainly for white balance. So I'm gonna go down to my temperature right here, and I'm just gonna increase that just a little bit. And then on my first node, I'm gonna go back and adjust my contrast. Now, since this is green and I really want these greens to pop, I'm gonna take my tint and just make it a little more green. So now that I've adjusted my contrast and exposure on serial node 1, I've applied my LUT and I've adjusted things for white balance on node 2. Now I'm gonna go and add my third serial LUT, and this one is probably my favorite one to use, and I'll show you why. So we're just gonna click Option S. You might be in this custom curve right here. There's so many different tools. This is why people get so intimidated by this stuff. You don't even really know where to go. But what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go to my curves, and we're gonna click this dial right next to the square. It's called hue versus hue. I'm gonna click I on my keyboard to get my eyedropper tool, and we are going to click greens. And when we do that, it's showing us where that lands on our graph right here. For a more cinematic look, I want to take my greens and I actually want to push them down so that they turn teal. So I'm going to take these. See how they're just getting a little bit blue? All right, I really like that. The other thing that I want to do on my node 2, and I'm editing this and I'm like, okay, it's getting there, but it's not exactly where I want it to, and I'm kind of going a little bit all over the place, is I need to adjust the saturation. So we're going to bump that saturation up, and look at the color just pop right here. Now we're gonna go back to node 3, and I have this pushed up a little bit, but it's kind of pink. So I'm gonna take that down just a little bit. We're gonna go back to our node 2, and then I'm also gonna increase the temperature just a little bit. People sometimes have different opinions. To me, I really like the saturated pop of this shot. If I was filming for a business or something, I probably wouldn't do super saturated stuff. But since I'm filming in nature, I really want these colors to pop. Right now, the dials that I'm focused on are really just these white ones. And I'm just going around double checking Seeing what I like, boom. All right, so that looks pretty good. Now, the fourth node that we're gonna add is pretty easy, and it's really to stylize the shot by adding a vignette. We're gonna click node 3, click option S, now we have our node 4. We have this wave graph right over here. We're gonna click this circle, and we're just gonna click circle ellipse, and I'm gonna drag this to the edge of the screen, and then this pink dot right here is the feather, and you really wanna pull that feather a little bit there. And then we're gonna go down here and we're gonna click invert. Whatever controls we use right now is only affecting the ellipse that we just made. And since we inverted it, we wanna tackle whatever is outside of this circle. We're gonna pull our gamma down, boom. And I like it right there, perfect. And now we have that nice kind of dark edge around our frame, which I really like. This is kind of my first lesson to teaching you guys how to use DaVinci Resolve. Clearly, we need to up our skills, and there's a lot of stuff to learn. Let me know what you guys want to learn next. Tell me down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if this helped, and that'll be it. Have a great day. Goodbye.